around like that at age 58. So I want to get that out the way first. But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul. Now, unlike people who worked with me, unlike people who are friends and colleagues, what have you, I didn't find it funny.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank.
That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Stephen A. Smith criticized Jake Paul for taking on Gervonta Davis, arguing that Paul is simply too big for him. Smith claimed that Jake consistently chooses fights that don't genuinely test his skills, describing this matchup as one-sided and uncompetitive. He added that Paul avoids opponents who are on his level, revealing that his boxing choices seem more focused on securing easy wins than pursuing real challenges.
That was Mike Tyson. Now you're going into the ring against a cat that's 228. He's a young lion, and no matter what questions may exist about Jake Paul and his ability to box real boxers, because we haven't really seen that yet from him, we don't question his power. No. We know he's got power.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith asked Gervonta Davis's coach which opponents he believes deserve to share the ring with Tank next, and the coach didn't hesitate to respond. He stated that anyone who has spoken negatively about Davis should be the first to step up, mentioning names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, fighters who have publicly questioned Tank's abilities. For the coach, this isn't just about rivalry but also about respect. He believes these men need to experience firsthand the power that Davis brings to the ring. His goal isn't merely revenge for their words but to silence the critics who continue to doubt Davis's dominance. In his view, it's time for the talkers to be humbled inside the ropes and witness the true reality of Tank's skill set.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his training, that's like a father figure to him, you're training him all the time, you know him, both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we working on the big four. It was Garcia, that's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
Comedian and commentator Aries Spears didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on the event, describing the upcoming fight as more of a performance than a genuine sporting contest. While he referred to it as a circus, Spears still expressed strong confidence in Gervonta Davis's power and precision, predicting that Tank would end the spectacle early with a knockout by the third round. What stands out in his remarks is the balance between criticism and admiration. He acknowledges the promotional absurdity surrounding the matchup but also respects Davis's ruthless efficiency as a finisher. Spears' perspective mirrors that of many fans who view the fight as both ridiculous and captivating, an entertainment spectacle wrapped in real skill, where even skeptics can't ignore the likelihood of Davis delivering a brutal, decisive finish before the bout goes too far.
Fight that's coming up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240, Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fighter.
I'm predicting a third round knockout.
Ooh.
Third
round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke. That fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather?
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing. He'd mess up that record.
Yeah. And I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's 37 years old. I personally don't
But he still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster. Crawford had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And he had only had 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career. But this whole Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing, just because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. There was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly that's what it's about. It's the bag, you know?
Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. They're going to start putting old men. I mean, they've already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Stephen A. Smith, known for his outspoken opinions, has called for boxing to move beyond its current spectacle-driven trend. He believes Gervonta Davis should prioritize meaningful matchups that truly test his limits rather than exhibition-style contests that add little to his legacy. Smith expressed particular interest in seeing Davis rematch Ryan Garcia, noting that there's still unfinished business between the two. He also named Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson as ideal opponents, fighters capable of challenging Davis both mentally and physically. Smith's message is clear: fans deserve fights that matter. These are the kinds of bouts that define champions and reignite the sport's competitive spirit. He doesn't want to see Davis's talent wasted on gimmicky events but showcased against legitimate challengers who can help elevate his greatness.
To me personally, I want to see him fight a Garcia again. I want to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody like that that's got some power, somebody that has the potential to inflict some pain upon him, because I don't know if anybody can do it. And I've totally lost it with David Haney. After what I saw Ryan Garcia do to him, even though Ryan Garcia was a bit bulked up.
A growing number of boxing commentators are becoming increasingly frustrated with Jake Paul's approach to his career. They argue that his recent fight announcements follow a predictable pattern, choosing unusual opponents who generate buzz rather than genuine competition. Many experts believe these matchups are crafted more for headlines and viral moments than for building Paul's credibility in the ring. Critics point out that he often avoids fighters who are evenly matched in experience, weight, or technical skill. And while his events draw millions of viewers, they say the entertainment value comes at the expense of authenticity. The spectacle tends to overshadow the sport itself, with storylines that feel scripted rather than organic. For boxing purists, this is precisely why Paul remains more of a showman than a true professional contender.
That was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire, as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul, was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, you know, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect to boxing, in my opinion.
There's a growing belief that Gervonta Davis's recent career decisions are being driven more by profit than prestige. Analysts suggest that his team is prioritizing lucrative, high-profile bouts over matchups that would strengthen his championship legacy. The planned fight with Jake Paul only reinforces this perception, serving as evidence to some that boxing has evolved into an entertainment business first and a sport second. Davis's reputation for explosive knockouts virtually guarantees massive pay-per-view numbers, and pairing him with a YouTube celebrity amplifies that financial appeal. However, traditionalists see this trend as troubling, fearing that fighters now value revenue potential over competitive merit. While Davis's talent remains unquestionable, his recent choices imply that legacy may no longer be his primary motivation.
When he make another
money is.
40 plus million with Jake,
he's gonna go make 40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Rowe for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
no, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing, you do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it, you want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money, man.
Jeff Mayweather, a respected voice in the boxing community, has openly questioned the reasoning behind this matchup, expressing concern over the significant size and weight disparity between the two fighters. He points out that boxing's division system exists precisely to prevent such imbalances from putting athletes at risk. In this case, Jake Paul's naturally larger frame provides him with a physical advantage that can't be ignored. Mayweather believes that even with Gervonta Davis's superior skill set, the differences in reach, mass, and strength make the fight inherently unfair. He describes the bout as a mismatch that threatens the sport's credibility. To him, this isn't merely a clash between two individuals, it's a test of how far boxing promoters are willing to stretch the rules in pursuit of financial spectacle.
Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Carl Froch, known for his blunt honesty, didn't hold back when criticizing Jake Paul's decision-making. He accused Paul of deliberately choosing smaller opponents to maintain a physical advantage, calling it absurd that Jake has avoided naturally bigger fighters like Anthony Joshua or legitimate heavyweights in favor of someone like Gervonta Davis, who competes several divisions below. For Froch, this move exposes the true motivation behind Paul's career. It's about manufacturing viral mismatches rather than pursuing genuine challenges. His comments echo the frustration of many boxing veterans who feel the sport's traditions are being eroded by celebrity-driven spectacles. Froch's straightforward critique highlights a deeper concern that modern boxing is sacrificing its integrity for clicks and cash.
Which we just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode. But hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
voiced strong disapproval
Daniel
of the
Cormier,
upcoming fight.
respected
He
for his
argued that the
insight
bout
across all
doesn't promise
combat
meaningful
sports,
competition,
voiced strong
but rather
disapproval
a
of the
predictable
upcoming
outcome.
fight,
Cormier
arguing that
highlighted
it
that
offers
Jake
little
Paul's
in terms
size
of
advantage
genuine
overshadowed
competition
any
and
intrigue,
promises a
making it
predictable
difficult
outcome.
for fans to take the fight
He
seriously.
emphasized that Jake
explained
Paul's
that the
size
weight gap
advantage
isn't just
eliminates
physical,
much of the
it
intrigue,
affects stamina,
making it
power
difficult for
absorption,
fans to
and
take the
overall
matchup
safety.
seriously.
In his view, the
According
event
to
might
Cormier,
generate
the
curiosity,
weight gap goes
but
beyond
it fails
physical
to offer real
differences.
sporting
It
value.
influences
Cormier
stamina,
also noted
power
that the constant
absorption,
focus
and
on
overall
spectacle
safety.
over substance
While
could
he
damage
acknowledged that
boxing's
the event
integrity.
might draw
His comments
curiosity,
reflect a
he
wider
believes it lacks
frustration
true sporting
among
value.
athletes who believe that the sport's
Cormier
proud
also
traditions
warned
are
that
being
boxing's
replaced
growing
with
obsession
shallow
with
publicity
spectacle over
stunts.
substance could harm the sport's integrity. His remarks echo a broader frustration among athletes who feel that
Wait,
boxing's
I thought
proud
it was
traditions are
190.
being replaced by shallow publicity
That's
stunts.
bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the
He's
reason
been
why
a
he's
world
taking this
champion
fight.
so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like,
But
I
Jake
can't
Paul-
think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
Observers have noted that, despite widespread criticism of the fight as meaningless, it effectively serves multiple agendas within the boxing business. Promoters, media networks, and even rival fighters all profit from the controversy and attention it generates. The ongoing debate itself fuels publicity, creating financial momentum for everyone involved. Ironically, the same commentators who condemn the fight also amplify its reach by discussing it endlessly. This contradiction underscores how modern boxing thrives on controversy as much as competition. Every critique becomes free marketing, and every insult turns into ticket sales. The real irony is that what fans call a mockery is exactly what keeps the industry profitable and relevant.
He is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
The broader conversation surrounding this fight goes beyond who comes out on top, it's about what the matchup represents. Many see it as emblematic of the blurred line between entertainment and athletic integrity. Jake Paul's rise has shown that popularity can sometimes outweigh pedigree, while Gervonta Davis's participation demonstrates that even elite boxers may chase spectacle. Critics argue that these events dilute the essence of the sport, turning boxing into a stage for novelty rather than true competition. Supporters, however, view it as an evolution, a way to keep boxing relevant in an era dominated by social media. Regardless of perspective, the matchup forces the sport to confront an identity crisis. Is boxing still about proving superiority through discipline and skill, or has it become a business where fame dictates the fights?
That's 60 pounds size difference. And Tank often weighs in light at 133.5 pounds. You know, he's 5'5", he's not a big guy. Okay, let's be honest, he's tiny. I could literally put him in my pocket. You know, he's a pocket rocket, but he's small. Yes, I know, I went too far. Let's move on. Jake's been fighting a cruiserweight, over 200 pounds. You know, he's 6'1". He's just a bigger guy, you know, a different beast. This is what Jake does. Love or hate him, he knows how to generate interest, get people talking. In his words, do the unthinkable. But guess what? People will tune in. What can I say? The guy's clever. He calls out AJ. The fight's looking likely. Everybody's outraged. Can't believe it. Then bang. He's fighting Tank. The man's half the size. He's done it again. Whether you like it or not, he's a marketing genius. He knows how to keep his name on your tongue. Everyone slated him for fighting Mike Tyson. I did too. He was fighting an old man with health problems. But guess what? I tuned in. And do you know why? Because curiosity killed the cat. And I wasn't alone. 100 million plus people tuned